Hey YouTube, Sir Streetborn Frog here, and I have a deck of the month. Again, it will be Frog Monarchs. I did it a couple, maybe 2 months ago, or maybe 1 month ago, I don't know. But this is an updated version, it's a much better version. I changed a lot of cards to compete with some of the top decks that weren't around when I made my last build. So, and a new pack came out, the Shining Darkness. So, a few cards have been added, some have been removed, and let's get started. First off, we got the Treeborn Frog. It's pretty much the whole point of the deck. You got lots of cards to send it to the graveyard. It comes back during your standby phase if you have no spells or traps set. And, yeah, you just keep bringing back Treeborn and tributing it for Monarchs or enemy controller. Next up is Swap Frog. What that does is it sends an Aqua level 2 to the graveyard from your deck or field. So you're going to want to send Ronin Toadin or Treeborn Frog to the graveyard with it. I'll get to Ronin Toadin in a second. That's not the only thing it does though. Swap Frog is even better than sending Treeborn to the graveyard, which is already broken. It can add any card on the field to your hand, and if you want, you can summon another frog that's in your hand. So, yeah, you can create locks with Monarchs by having Treeborn Frog in your graveyard and Swap Frog on the field. You can just keep getting back Treeborn during your standby phase, tribute that Treeborn for a Monarch, and let Swap Frog, if it's on your field still, you can return the Monarch back to your hand and just use it again next turn. Next up is Ronin Toadin. When it's in your graveyard, you can remove a frog from your graveyard to special summon it. It's 2,000 defense, so that's really good. You can send it with Swap Frog, and it helps out with a lot of cards in the deck. Next up is Dupe Frog. If I have 2 Dupe Frogs on the field, my opponent can't attack me because they say they have to be attacked first. And if you have 2, your opponent won't be able to attack you. Its second effect is when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can add a frog from my graveyard or deck to my hand. Now, say I tribute Dupe Frog for a Monarch, it will miss its timing, you won't be able to search for a frog. The only way you're going to search is off of a torrential or an attack, basically. But yeah, it's still a really good card to create a lock, which is going to happen maybe 1 out of 3 games, or maybe 2 out of 3 games. It's very important to, because sometimes you're not going to have all the tributes that you need. Next up is the Substitute. This is another big card in the deck. Lets you tribute a monster to special summon a frog from your deck. So you can get through all of these because it's not once per turn. So you can tribute every single one of your frogs in your deck till you're left with none. And then you'll have 2 Treeborns in your graveyard. It has a second effect, which is good with Dupe Frog. Your frog monsters can't be destroyed by battle. So say you are left with the Substitute and a Dupe Frog, you can actually lock them that way too, because your opponent can't destroy your Dupe Frog by battle. So Substitute can't be attacked, and Dupe Frog can't be destroyed by battle. Nothing can be destroyed. Next up is Light and Darkness Dragon. If I get him out against Infernies, there's not much they can do unless they have a huge back row or an Infernity barrier. Yeah, it's really big against Infernities right now, and it's good against Machina. It's good against, I'm not sure if it's good against X-Sabers because I haven't played many, but it's just a really good card to lock your opponent down, make them waste all their important cards, then you can just summon another one and then maybe they won't be able to get over it. Next up is Ryza. This used to be my least favorite card in the deck, but now it is my favorite card in the deck. it's really bad against Blackwings, but not many people run it, so you don't really have to be that scared. But it's really good. It's going to create a lot of locks with Ryza and Swap Frog. That's one of the locks. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it makes you feel good. And you know, Ryza just a very important card in the deck. Gores is the best monster ever created, in my opinion. I like to try and fit him into every deck I can, and he fits perfectly in this deck because there's not going to be a lot of cards on the field. So Gore is just easily summonable. Next up is Battle Fader. If I don't get off the Frog Engine, I can negate their battle phase. End their battle phase, negate their attack, summon, tribute Battle Fader next turn for a Monarch. It's kind of like a Treeborn Frog, I guess. Next up is Thestalos. I run 2. Oh, that's 3 Battle Faders, by the way. I run 2 Thestalos. I used to run 3, but I took one out because it's not as important as it was before. It's still a good card. It can generate a lot of advantage with Soul Exchange, along with Brain Control and other cards. I still like the Stalos a lot, but I needed room, so I took one out. Didn't hurt that bad. Next up is 3 Caius, the best Monarch right now. So yeah, there's not much to explain about Caius. It does 1,000 damage. That's really good. It can remove Stardust Dragon, which isn't even a problem in this deck. This deck just demolishes Stardust Dragon. And there's only 2 cards that are affected by Starlight Road, so this is one of them. Next up, Dark Dust Spirit. Another really cool card in the deck. It has 1800 defense. So what I do a lot is I just set it, so let my opponent attack into it, and then he blows up the whole field, every face-up monster on the field. And he gets to return to my hand at the end phase. So it's a spirit. Another cool card to the deck. Next up, MST. That's just a staple card. It's always nice to maybe get rid of their back rows, or end phase, get rid of their Solemns, because Solemn Judgment's a card that really hurts this deck. A well-timed Solemn Judgment can defeat this deck right off the bat. Next up is Brain Control, another staple, one of the best cards, one of the best spell cards in the game, if not the best. Even better because you run a whole bunch of Monarchs that you contribute your opponent's monsters with. Next up is Heavy, another staple. It's like the only card that gets hit by Starlight Road besides Dark Dust Spirit. Heavy Storm, another one of the best spell cards ever. Next up, 3 Econs. It has a lot of combos with Treeborn Frog. I can tribute my Treeborn during the standby phase, take your monster, and get my Treeborn back. So that's a Light and Darkness Dragon right there. Then Econ's really good against Infernities because I can take their Archfiend, and they won't be able to make big plays with it. They won't be able to OTK most of the time. Next up is 3 Soul Exchange. They're all dual terminal. I like the dual terminal one a lot. It's cool looking. I have 3 of them in the deck because it runs 14 tributes. Next up is Cold Wave. I recently added this to the deck. It can do a lot of things. Since everyone's running lots of spell heavy decks, trap heavy decks, decided to try it out. It has been working very good. I think I'm going to keep it in. Yeah, it's working really good. And oh, I forgot the last monster, Trigodia. Trigodia is one of those cards I'm thinking of taking out, but I don't really know what I'd add in for it. It's still good, but like I said, I may take it out. I'm not positive on that. And last up is 2 Spiritual Water Art Aoi. It's a good card also. Those are the 3 cards I'm thinking of taking out, Aoi and Trigodia. But Aoi has been working good as well. It's just not as good as I thought it'd be. Yeah. So this is the deck. I think it's really good right now. It's my favorite deck, this format, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.